Greetings and welcome to this learning session. This session will entail ways to increase your skills to respond to behavior that your child may display in your home and in the community. The objectives of today's session will be for you as the participant to be able to summarize the behavioral skills presented, evaluate how to apply these skills within your home and/or community settings, and consider which skills to implement within these settings. Think about some behaviors you would like to see more of from your child or children. Take out a sticky note or a piece of paper and jot a few desired behaviors down that you would like to see more of from your child or children. Within the topic of behavioral skills, I will cover the concepts and strategies related to reinforcement, extinction, and differential reinforcement. I will begin with positive reinforcement. Positive reinforcement occurs when an item, action, or activity are presented immediately following a behavior that makes it more likely that that particular behavior will occur again in the future. The items, events, or activity that are presented after the behavior occurs is called a reinforcer. For example, descriptive social praise is a reinforcer that may be presented by you to your child when they begin cleaning up their toys and may sound like, "Great job putting your toys away." There are a variety of reinforcer types, from social to edible. This slide displays the different types along with some examples of reinforcers under each type. Reinforcer options should be age appropriate and individualized for your child. We are motivated by different things, and so are our children. It is vital to ensure that reinforcers are individualized for each person. When determining reinforcers, ensure that the items, activities, tangibles, etc. that are chosen are highly preferred, so that when they are used, they will likely work to increase the desired behavior. This slide displays some examples of what positive reinforcement may look like in action in your home and in your community. These may include a father giving his child a piece of candy for picking up his toys, a parent driving through a restaurant's drive-through window to purchase an ice cream for his daughter after completing a doctor's appointment, a babysitter saying, "Great job cleaning the kitchen," when the child puts away the dishes, or a child dressing himself and earning extra time on their tablet. There are many benefits to using positive reinforcement, which may include that you are giving versus taking away. There is no bad or negative consequence added. Positive reinforcement is more powerful than punishment. It is easier to encourage than to discourage someone. It is more effective in the long term and has been proven effective in teaching a new skill or replacement behavior. Here are some quick ways that you can use reinforcement to increase desired behaviors in your child or children. These may include giving attention and praise when your child is being good, praising your child for successful steps, even if it is a small step, providing attention to your child without him or her having to earn it, celebrating your child's efforts, not just the results, praising your child with positive statements, offering your child genuine and realistic praise, displaying your child's work in a place of honor, writing positive notes or pictures to your child, praising them consistently and often, and telling another adult or their sibling how proud you are of your child's behavior while the child is listening. These are examples of reinforcement systems you may want to consider using with your child. The top two examples are called first-then systems, in which the first is the expected desired behavior or task that you are asking your child to complete or engage in. And then the then is the reinforcer they would receive upon completing or engaging in the behavior or task noted under the first. The bottom example is called a star chart, in which your child would earn stars for using the bathroom appropriately and then earn a bigger reinforcer once they earn all 4 stars. Let's pause for a moment of self-reflection on your practice and use of positive reinforcement with your child. Ask yourself these questions. Do I reinforce my child's desired behaviors? How do I reinforce my child? What are behaviors that I reinforce? And what are behaviors that I could start reinforcing more often? I will now move in to discuss a concept called extinction. Let's begin this section by having you pause to reflect on behaviors your child engages in that you would like to see less of or not any longer. Take out a sticky or a piece of paper and list out 2 to 3 behaviors. Now that you've written out those behaviors that you'd like to see less of or not at all in your child, let's see how we can use the second strategy of extinction to help decrease those unwanted, undesired behaviors. Extinction occurs when no reinforcement is provided after a behavior. This results in a decrease in the behavior and an eventual extinguishing of the behavior. I am solely recommending the ignoring of the behavior that your child is engaging in, not ignoring your child as a whole. Let's see how we can use the strategy of extinction to help further decrease those unwanted, undesired behaviors. We all engage in behavior for many reasons. These reasons are purposeful and called functions. There are 4 functions, which are to gain attention from another person, to gain access to a tangible item or activity, to escape an activity or a person, or to gain an internal sensory stimulation response. When your child is engaging in behaviors, it is important to try to discover their purpose or function as to why they may be engaging in that particular behavior. For example, your child may be crying or screaming when you ask them to clean up, and these behaviors may be occurring to either increase their time with the activity, which would be access to tangible, or to escape the demand of cleaning up. Extinction, which is not providing reinforcement, can be implemented when you are responding to your child's undesired behaviors. If you think your child is engaging in undesired behavior to gain your or another person's attention, you should block or ignore the behavior from gaining attention. If you think your child is engaging in undesired behavior to escape or get out of a demand, task, or situation, you should block or ignore the behavior from allowing your child to get out of the demand, task, or situation. If you think your child is engaging in undesired behavior to gain or continue access to a tangible item, such as a TV, tablet, or favorite activity, you should block or ignore the behavior from allowing access or continued access to those items or activities. If you think your child is engaging in undesired behavior for sensory reasons, like for a certain sensation, or doesn't appear to do it for any other previous reasons given, you should block dangerous behaviors such as eating inedible items, which is called pica, self-injury, or running away from or eloping from the situation, from allowing them to potentially harm themselves. The following slide contains a video example of extinction in action for your further understanding. We will now combine our concepts of positive reinforcement and extinction to cover a new concept called differential reinforcement. Differential reinforcement occurs when you combine positive reinforcement with extinction. The desired behavior you want to see more of should be reinforced, while the undesired behavior you want to see less of or not at all should not be reinforced, so it should be ignored or blocked. There are several procedures that you could choose to implement with your child. I will discuss two of these procedures: differential reinforcement of other behaviors, also known as DRO, and differential reinforcement of alternative behaviors, which is also called DRA. The first procedure I will discuss is called differential reinforcement of other behaviors, also known as DRO. In this procedure, you would reinforce through either giving the child verbal praise, a treat, sticker, or other reinforcer during times when the undesired behavior is not occurring for a predetermined period of time, while also ignoring times when the undesired behavior occurs. Using DRO, what could you do to decrease a child's tantrum behavior duration? In this example, you would reinforce the child for every 10 seconds that they are not engaging in tantrum behavior, and then ignore the tantrum behavior when it occurs. The second procedure I will discuss is called differential reinforcement of alternative behaviors, or DRA. In this procedure, you would reinforce, such as give the child verbal praise, a treat, a sticker, etc., during times when an alternative or replacement behavior to the undesired behavior occurs, while also ignoring times when the undesired behavior is occurring. The alternative or replacement behavior is determined according to the purpose or function of the undesired behavior. For example, if you tell your child to stop playing and clean up their toys, your child screams because they don't want to leave a preferred toy. It is proposed that the child's scream, function, or purpose was to extend their access to that tangible item of the toy. In this case, an alternative or replacement behavior would be to teach the child to request a few more minutes with the toy. When the child requests a few more minutes with the toy, the reinforcement would be more time with the toy, while the parent ignores any behaviors of screaming. The teaching of the alternative or replacement behavior is called functional communication training. I will use the next slide to further explain this concept. Alternative behaviors are determined through a few criteria. The behavior has to already be in your child's repertoire. It should not be a new behavior. The behavior requires equal or less effort than your child engaging in the undesired behavior. The behavior must be occurring at rates that provide sufficient opportunities for you to deliver reinforcement following the desired behavior. And the behavior must be able to be reinforced in your child's natural environment for continuation of this behavior once the reinforcer is less delivered or needed. At times, your child may not possess a behavior that meets all four of these criteria, and therefore a new alternative behavior can possibly be selected and taught. This may also lead you to decide to use a different differential reinforcement procedure. Functional communication training, or FCT, is an example of a differential reinforcement of alternative behaviors system that can be effective in helping to teach and reinforce alternative behavior options. FCT helps to replace a challenging behavior with a functional communication alternative that is a more appropriate and effective communication skill. Examples on this slide include teaching your child how to request a break, request more time with a tangible item, and request attention from others appropriately. FCT must be taught through multiple exposure. Initial target behavior is placed on extinction, so it is ignored or blocked. Be sure that the mode of communication makes sense to your child and is one that takes little effort, especially when your child may be frustrated. Let's pause again to consider the possible alternatives to your child's undesired behaviors. Remember, these alternatives should match the function or purpose of your child's undesired behaviors. The top example on this slide depicts a child screaming for their mom's attention. The alternative behavior would be to teach and reinforce your child when they communicate appropriately for attention, possibly with their words. DRA tells us that we would also ignore, not provide attention to your child when the screaming is occurring to not allow it to continue. The bottom example on the slide depicts a child engaging in tantrum behavior when it is time to clean up. The alternative behavior would be to teach and reinforce your child, when they communicate appropriately, more time with those items. DRA also tells us that we would ignore, not provide extra time with the items when the tantrum behavior occurs to not allow this behavior to continue. I want you to pause and refer back to your list of behaviors your child engages in that you would like to see less of or not any longer. Go through each behavior on your list and think about what alternative behavior you could teach and reinforce that still serve the same function or purpose as the undesired behavior. Here is an example of implementing DRA. Your child engages in undesired behavior. You identify the alternative behavior that is desired according to what you propose is the function of the undesired behavior. You ignore the undesired behavior when it occurs, while reinforcing the alternative behavior when that occurs with your child's reinforcer. Using DRA, what could you do to decrease this child's tantrum behavior if they are for your attention? What alternative behavior could you teach this child to decrease the tantrum behavior? This slide gives examples of alternative behaviors such as raising your hand, tapping on your shoulder, or calling for you as their mom as alternatives to tantrum behavior. Now it's time to put your personally derived behavior example into action. This flowchart will help you to determine how you will implement what you just learned to increase desired behavior while decreasing undesired behavior in your child. Use this chart to assist you in creating an action plan towards using one of the DR procedures, either DRO or DRA, with reinforcement and extinction to change your child's behavior. Thank you for your time today. If you have questions, please contact the Delaware Department of Education Autism Resources Workgroup at autism.resources@doe.k12.de.us.